It's November now, so we're doing our November market update. Danny, as always, is good enough to pull numbers, and we had a little bit of a weird month last month. So a couple of things that stand out to me on the market at a glance page are we have rebounded fully in terms of the amount of homes sold and in the average sales price. So that's good news. We were being worried a little bit there, but again, 1 month's anomaly does not make a trend. And we're going to go through the rest of the numbers right now. Danny, what do you got for homes sold?
Homes sold. You can see when we look at the little graph here that we are actually up, as you noted, 4% month over month, 5% if you look all the way back to the left compared to this time last year. 2,251 homes were sold. Supply is just over 4,000, and that is down just a couple of percent from the month before, but it's up 23% from the same time last year. So a lot more supply. The demand still looks pretty good, as you can see there. We typically this time of year, we kind of go over the hump as we've been talking about in the summertime, kind of the busiest season. Things start to kind of like cool off this time of year. And you can see that that's happened, but yeah, a nice little bump from last month and inventory being up. This just means that there's more options for buyers.
Yeah, I think we got a little bit of a rebound effect after the market starts to realize that we're shifting. We're definitely in the middle of a change, and the inventory reflects that as well. But the good news is, at least for homeowners, average sales price versus average list price has climbed up from last month. Last month, again, was an anomaly. But Danny, I'll let you go through details. The biggest takeaway, I think, is that we're up over last year.
Yeah, that's right. So we are up over last year, and you can see, well, we're up 3% over last year, a little over $11,000, and also up 3% over last month, also about $11,000 and change. But if you look all the way back to the left, you can see how smooth that curve is. And while things went down after the peak season, which again is totally normal, it's a seasonal thing, and then they kind of rebounded up early this year, which again is normal. All of a sudden, things have gotten kind of choppy towards the right-hand side of this graph. And yeah, we were surprised to see such a big drop off last month. So if you were to erase that and just kind of make that line from, August to October, things look pretty smooth and pretty normal compared to other years. So it looks like September was the anomaly for us. Things have rebounded. Where we go from here, who can guess? But it looks like we're kind of back to, I guess what you would say is the seasonal norm.
Right. And to continue that trend, next month we're going to be down a little bit. I think the anomaly already happened in September, which is a little unusual, but it's an anomaly. That's why we call it as such. So percentage over and under asking has increased a little bit as far as what we would expect in a shifting market.
Yeah, and you can see here again the way the curve moves, right? When things are really competitive, when there's a lot of activity in the summer, that's when you start to see things going above asking more frequently. It's also when you see things going below asking less frequently, right? And the opposite's true during these kind of cooler months. So this month, not a huge surprise. It looks very similar to the month before. You can see that the homes being sold more than 5% below their asking price was up a little bit over the prior month. Not a lot. Seasonally, it looks pretty normal. And if you look back to this time last year, it's up just a touch from then as well. So not a huge surprise here. I think we'll continue to expect things to be a little bit cooler. And again, great opportunity for buyers.
Yep. And again, a trend of the shifting market and the seasonal market is that days on the market gets longer. 31 days on average now, 16 days is median, 16 days is the better indicator. If you prepare correctly, price your house correctly. I don't know. There's a lot more to say about that. Price reductions have gone up a little bit.
Yep. Both of those graphs are very similar, right? Just in terms of their seasonality. So we're just a little bit higher, a little bit out of phase from last year in terms of days on market, but the trend is basically the same. Things are slowing down. Nothing too terribly crazy, although we should watch that median of 16 days. It seems a little high, but we'll see in time. And then, like you said, the price reductions, kind of a normal rebound. You see how things climbed at this time last year. We were on our way up to as much as 42% of home sales happening after a price reduction. So, of course, that peaked right around January. So I'd expect things to continue to go up from here unless sellers start to dramatically adjust their pricing.
Yep. And then probably the biggest news on this chart, aside from the bounce back from the anomaly, 30-year fixed rates are at the lowest they've been in a year. And one of the lowest we've seen in the past 18 to 24 months, for sure. We're down a bit, and we expect that to fully come down. If it comes down slowly, great. We can adjust to that pretty easily. If it comes down fast, we'll see a spike in pricing again. Right now, we're average over $400,000 for our average sales price in Central Ohio. That is a new benchmark in our history. So just keep that in mind. So we're still supply constrained, even though we have more supply. We certainly have a lot ways to go, and we'll have to keep tabs on the shifting market to see where we end up. We pull our own numbers again. Here's the map of the sales by zip code. And you can dive into your own zip code to see how hot your market is. Danny, as always, thanks for pulling numbers. And this is a fast one. We'll continue to keep an eye on it.